So later on in therapy, I realized that the just wanted to me, but that wasn't possible because I'm gay.
Five, four, three, two.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I did a introduction video just introducing who I am, and this video I wanted to, because the month of Pride is here, I wanted to kind of just go over my not my experience, but shit. I wanted to go over growing up gay. I think where I want to start is I think I want to start elementary. Well, I'm going to start as far as I can remember. I'm probably going to go into like details of like moments where I knew I was gay, but for the most part, I'm going to explain my earliest memory from elementary, and then I am going to go to middle school, to high school, pretty much as far as much as I can remember. All right. So first off, I wanted to start off by saying like when you are growing up gay, um, you do a lot of stuff that you just shouldn't do, right? When I was in elementary, I remember going through this phase, like I was, you go through sixth grade, or you're in sixth grade, excuse me, and it's like you're touching the girls, and you feeling on their butt, and you're grabbing their chest and everything, and depending on who you were, it was invited because everyone's going through hormones, right? So depending on who you were, it was invited, you were allowed, and other boys were not allowed to touch certain females. But um, I remember I got suspended for that, and I remember my mother and father just not really caring. They cared, excuse me, I take that back. They did care. It's just that I didn't really get in big trouble like that. Um, so let's fast forward to like seventh grade, eighth grade. I remember I went to Bobian. I believe it was at the time it was Bobian. I don't know what it is now, but I remember when I got to seventh grade, right, and everything. Sorry, hold on, wait, the light and okay, so everything seemed pretty cool, right? Because at this moment I'm starting to understand like something's not 100%. Like I'm not really attracted to girls like that. I don't know. I just wasn't attracted to girls, and I felt like I don't know. I had to be. I don't know, but in seventh grade, I knew I wasn't attracted to girls, but for the sake of having a normal um, middle school year, I tried to just hang around the guys, do the guy shit, blah 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 blah, and it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work, and I remember everything was cool up until like lunchtime. I had went over to talk to the girls that I used to talk to in elementary school just to say hi because we all were in the same middle school together. So I went over there to say hi or whatever, just to chit chat with them. And then out of nowhere, everybody started calling me gay, and I was like, "Huh? What was that?" And that was the beginning. Like that was the beginning of just like, ugh, I don't even know how to explain it. Um, I'm not gonna name drop, even though I really don't give a fuck about name dropping. But for the sake of uh, people's autonomy, did I use that word right? I don't know, but I'm not gonna name drop. Um, But when I was in seventh grade, I wasn't physically bullied, but I was definitely verbally bullied. And I noticed that it's interesting because it was one guy. Sorry. Okay. So it was one guy that used to tease me or used to call me gay all the time. They called me gay gay. That was the thing. And it was just him. But other guys didn't do it. It was so I mostly received like homophobia from him, and the rest of it was females. Like the rest of it was females. I never like dudes didn't ever come up to me and go gay, gay. It was always that one person, that one guy, and females. Which was weird because I didn't really I don't know. Did I like sit around them? I don't know. But I definitely remember that in seventh grade. And it was just not a good year for me during the seventh grade. And then I remember one second. So seventh grade was it was bizarre. It was not a good year for me. To be honest with you, middle school in general wasn't good for me. But seventh grade is pretty much like where it began. And like I said, going back, when I got to the seventh grade, everything seemed cool. And then out of nowhere, they just start calling me gay. And I was like, but where did this come from? Again, I am gay. That's the truth. But it's the fact that I'm like, well, how did this happen? How did it like how did this happen? I thought I was doing so good, you know what I'm saying? I was touching girls and I was keeping everything cool. Everything was smooth. So I'm like, how the hell did this happen? And I low key believe that it was this I see. I want to say names, but it was this person who he was a big hater. Like when I think about it, like when I go back to the past and think, like that nigga was a hating ass nigga. And I remember my oldest brother, he was involved in how do you say the business. So he was involved in the business. So I would say I was like maybe 11. I wouldn't really say he was involved in the business because if I was 10 or 11, he was probably like 17, 18 or something like that. And so sixth grade had to be like, how old was I? 11, I think. 11 years old is sixth grade, I think. I can't remember. But point is, this nigga was a hater. And I remember when my brother was, doing what he was doing, he used to have all of the clothes. He used to have Jordans. This is early 2000s, so he used to have Coogee, Jabot, Iceberg, Guess, Azuri, something like that. So he had all the designer clothes. And because me and my brother at the time were around the same height, because I'm 6'2". So my brother at the time, I was about maybe, I don't know, 5'9" or 5'10" maybe. And my brother was around the same height. So a lot of his clothes I wore as well. And the nigga, he was a hater. And also he didn't know my brother was my brother. So I low-key secretly think that when we got to middle school, it was him who told everybody that I was gay. And I think he only told them that because he was just a jealous ass nigga because I don't know. He was just a jealous, hating ass nigga. And I think it was him who said that. And I don't want to say it was a rumor because it's true, but I feel like it would have been nice for me to become comfortable with who I was without the homophobia, But anyway, circling back to middle school, seventh grade, I was verbally bullied. I was called gay gay all the time by one person. This one dude, he used to call me gay gay all the time. And then the rest of it was just bitches. Like, it was just bitches. One bitch specifically. She was about this short. I remember she got beat up by this girl. Let me not say nothing. That was 8th grade. But specifically, it was this one person. And I was just like, it was just weird. But let's move to 8th grade. 8th grade, I thought to myself, like, okay, we'll come back 8th grade and we'll start over, right? So I would feel it. I was feeling to myself, I was saying to myself, like, okay, we come back, we start over, everything's cool, blah, 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 blah. So I get to school, 8th grade year, everything is cool, nobody's saying anything, yada, 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 woo, woo, woo. Cool. So there was this one guy, he was new. He had came to Bobian. And you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start calling people by their zodiac signs, or what I believe their zodiac signs were at the time. I mean, not at the time, but yeah, I'm just gonna do zodiac signs. So it was this. Oh, I forgot to mention. Now I can mention Gabrielle Wagner. I can say that name because she was my best friend all through like middle school and high school. So I can say that. And you know what? Shout out to all of the women and all of the girls that are in middle school and high school that have best friends that they know are queer, and they kind of do their best to like protect them or whatever. So definitely shout out to them. But 7th grade, thanks to Gabrielle Wagner, 7th grade was definitely I was able to get through 7th grade thanks to her. So then let's fast forward to 8th grade, and this guy, we're gonna call him Sagittarius. He gets there, or he transfers there, right? Because he transferred, I think, like at the end of the week or in the middle of the week or some shit like that. And I remember like he was just like around or whatever. And I remember like in my mind thinking like, okay, everything's cool. Nobody's calling me gay. Oh, the person who verbally bullied me in 7th grade came up to me and was like, hey, I'm going to stop calling you gay because blah, 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 blah. So he actually stopped calling me gay. And I think he apologized too. So 8th grade, most of the homophobia came from the bitches. And later on through therapy, you realize that those bitches just thought you were attractive, but because you were, I guess, gay, and I didn't give off, hard feminine energy, because there was, I think, 2 or 3 gay guys that was in our 8th and 7th grade, and they were very feminine, but I didn't really give that off that much. I don't think that I'm a super masculine person, but I'm not a feminine person, so I didn't really give that off. And, going to therapy had me unlock the fact that, them bitches just thought you was cute, but, because you were gay, they didn't want to be the bitches that's attracted to the gay guy, So you constantly call this guy gay, or you constantly are homophobic to this guy because you want to suppress the attraction that you have towards him. So later on in therapy, I realized that the bitches just wanted to fuck me, but, that wasn't possible because, I'm gay. But point is, in the 8th grade, Sagittarius, was, we was hanging out first period, second period, third period, all that shit, right? And so we finally get to the end of the day, right? And mind you, I'm trying to like stay clear of any gay rumors whatsoever. And so we get to the end of the day, and Sagittarius comes up to me and he goes, hey, Antonio, you a cool nigga to be, or what did he say? He said, for you to be gay, you a cool nigga. Or something like, you cool as hell even though you gay. Or some shit like that. And I remember like my entire fucking like mood just was like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I thought I was flying under the radar. And again, like growing up gay, it's like, you know that that's not supposed to be a thing. So in my mind, I thought it was cool up until shit. He bust my bubble and said like, nah, it ain't went nowhere. People still think you're gay. It ain't went nowhere. But that was 7th grade. Like I said, 7th grade was just, to be honest with you, it was just, it's a blackout in my mind because it wasn't a good time for me. It wasn't a good time at school. It wasn't a good time at home. Like I said, my mother and my father got back together, and that was a big mistake. My mother's an Aries. My father was, he dead now. My father was a Libra. So those two energies just, ugh. And anyway, so it was just bad at home and it was bad at school. And then eighth grade came and it didn't get no better. And again, mind you, I said in my intro video, this is early 2000s. So not only are we in a recession, but Detroit is on the verge to being murder capital. So anywhere and everywhere was just like, ugh, you know? And so, yeah, it was just not a good time. And then eighth grade, uh, eighth grade was a little better. It was a little better. Like I said, thank God for Gabrielle Wagner being my best friend, because that's how I was able to get through seventh grade, eighth grade, and you know, so on. But eighth grade was nothing different, except for the verbal bullying ceased. It ceased. It stopped. No one verbally bullied me. It was just the bitches. But I didn't really pay attention to them. You know what I'm saying? Like by the time I got to eighth grade, once the guy who was verbally bullying me said like, "Hey, Antonio, I'm going to stop doing that." You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It was only the bitches. You know, one specific small bitch. We're going to call her Gemini because she was a Gemini, and she got beat up by this other girl because it was a thing. You know, it was her. She was always like, gay, and I'm like, what the fuck is your problem, you know? But anyway, that was eighth grade. So then we get to ninth grade. Now Bobian was 7th through ninth grade. Some people went to Mumford or whatever high school they were going to go to, Redford, because Redford was a thing. Not Redford was a thing, excuse me. Redford, people who went, excuse me, I'm talking fast. People who went to Bobian after the, sorry, one second. So people that went to Bobian for the ninth grade, they either stayed or they went to high school, whether it was Mumford, I think McKenzie. Is McKenzie on the west side? I can't remember. Henry Ford, and what was the other one? Redford. There was a test. That's right. There was a test that you could take in the 8th grade. And again, this is back in 2001 or 2. There was a test that you could take whether you can get into so that you can get into the top 3 schools, which was Cass, Tech, Renaissance, and Martin Luther King. You know, these were like elite schools. I didn't get into any one of those schools, to be honest with you. I went right to Mumford. But yeah, so ninth grade was also a bad year for me because it was a bad year at home, and it was also a bad year at school. My first semester was cool, and I think after that it was just rough. And I remember that was around the time that I started skipping school, and that was around the time I started hanging out, you know, all the way over there on Joy Road, Finkel, and the East Side, and I was just doing ratchet shit. And yeah. But let's see, what else can I remember? What else can I remember from middle school? Oh, so okay. Let me tell you this. So let's go back to 8th grade. Sagittarius, right? So Sagittarius was unhinged. He was unhinged. If you went to Bobian during like 2001 or 2, or you went to Mumford in your class of like 06, 07, 08, you definitely know this person because this person was very, 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 very popular. He was popular when I didn't even want to tell y'all his gender, but it is what it is. Sagittarius was popular at Mumford. Excuse me. He was popular at Bobian, and then he went to Mumford and he was just super fucking popular. But when he was at Bobian, this motherfucker was unhinged. Like, I remember, oh God, I hope I don't give it away. But I remember this man literally constantly kept telling me about his grandma and how his grandma was gay and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't really care about your gay grandma. I kind of don't want to be affiliated or around anything gay whatsoever. I just want to keep straight and just move past this shit. But he always kept telling me about his gay grandma. And I remember we were in I can't remember what class we were in. And he sat next to me. First of all, pause. This Sagittarius used to be like in class just with his junk out, just out. Like he was totally unhinged, like totally unhinged. So I remember this day we were in class, or I forgot what period it was, and he sat next to me, and his shit was rock hard, and he asked me to touch, and I looked down, and there it was. Now, mind you, again, I'm trying my best to stay away from gay, but I'm gonna be honest, I was intrigued, so I did look. He asked me to touch it, but I didn't touch it. I think I touched his thigh. And when I touched his thigh, there was a girl, I'm not gonna say her name, but there was a girl who saw it, and she instantly was like, oh, Sagittarius is gay. And she was pissed. Like, she was upset. Like, she was mad. And so Sagittarius was like, no, I'm not gay. I'm bi. And everybody's like, what is bi? And it was like, it means I like both. And that was that. And then he went on about his regular schmegular day. Meanwhile, you know, if I would have did that, gay. But I remember that, and I remember Sagittarius was just unhinged. Like, he used to do like wild shit, wild sexual shit. But yeah, I think that's all that I can remember from my middle school days. Like I said, it was pretty dark. Not a favorable moment. Like I said, once I got to the 9th grade, I still was in Bobian in the 9th grade. So once I got to 9th grade, I was doing hood rat shit with hood rat people. I was over there on the east side where Persian is. My cousins and them, they were already on the east side. So if I wasn't hanging with them, I was over there like being ratchet around the neighborhood. So yes, I think I'm going to end here. And I feel like in the next video, I'll probably pick back up when I got to Mumford. And yeah, if I forgot anything, please comment below. Do me a favor, subscribe. I would appreciate that. Share the video too. And I will see y'all when I see y'all. Appreciate it.